So I says, yo, haha, it's all in the words.
Hey yo, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Hey man, check it. Holidays, are not on my radar. I don't like holidays. Um, I don't like the history of the holidays, and I don't like the fact that I was lied to about holidays. Most importantly, something that's on my mind right now is the fact that you have people who are in my culture who are similar to my color that are out there on TV working for companies that won't actually put the total truth out and won't totally back it up because they work for entities that are more interested in ratings. I watch MSNBC. Sometimes I watch CNN. I can't stand reading books because I don't trust books. I don't trust the news either because of the fact of clout chasing. I'll say that because of the they want to get ratings. But I don't want this to be a long video, so let me get to the point. Alright, so here it is. We as in people in my culture that want change, that want more of a politically correct country, nation, that want our children to be brought up in a better country than what we were in. Okay, so anyway, we sat back and we battled for monuments to be removed, monuments of um, racist people, racist men, supremacists, but yet we still are hanging on to religion and holidays. The same people that talk a lot of shit about how they want racism to be out of our nation, to be out of people's systems, period, are the same people who are practicing these holidays and religions. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I think that's some bullshit. If you're going to fight the system all the way and not just half-ass it. We want leaders, right? We talk about having leaders. But what kind of a follower are you if you're halfway doing your job? I really don't understand it. If you're halfway doing your job, that means you're given some information. That's cool. It's cool. But you're not completing the mission. And that's not cool. I think I could leave it off right here because the point is made. When I watch MSNBC or when I watch CNN or when I'm ear hustling, meaning my family would have it on the news channels and I can hear it in the background, ear hustling. Um, that's not my term. My family, you know what I'm saying, turned me on to that term. I want to give him my brother. I want to give my brother credit. My brother is well read. He read a lot of books on our culture and the history of this country and other countries. Shit they didn't teach us or want us to know. He read books that they don't even want in libraries. He ordered books that were not in the libraries that other, people had turned them on to, things like that. So I'm sitting up here, I'm like, man, if I'm hearing all these people talk to the community as though they're really spreading the news, as though they're giving their wholehearted commentary, I look at them, I'm like, the fuck are you doing? The fuck are you saying when you are telling people to have a good holiday? When you're telling people, about church and religion and shit like that? You know what I mean? It's like I was raised up on contradiction in the first place, so I recognize it. And when I say I was raised up on it, I was raised up in a family, I was raised up in a house, in a home that was like, a child should be seen and not heard. No talking back. But yet you ask me a fucking question, and when I go to answer it, you tell me I'm talking back. Some fucked up shit. How are you gonna just talk at me, ask me questions, and don't allow me to respond? It's fucked up. It taught me to just keep my fucking mouth shut, regardless. You know what I mean? If you're asking me a question and you're forcing me to answer it, then of course I gotta answer it, but otherwise the shit is gonna be rhetorical to me. So being brought up in a household like that, I recognize what these people are doing out here. And I don't like it. I don't fuck with it. I really don't fuck with it. I am not a racist. I keep telling any of my viewers that, when I say any of my viewers, I mean, if somebody watches my videos, then I'm telling you, and I have told you, that it's very hard for me to be a racist because of the fact that I know that my ancestors sold my other ancestors, Africans sold Africans to other Africans and to other countries. And then I also know that, and it just makes sense, that Caucasians, white folks, enslaved other white folks and shipped them off to other places for the dollar, for money, for whatever they was going to profit off of, and whatever way they was going to profit off of it as well. As far as the English or the British or whoever, when you imprison people that are under your rule, when you imprison them and shit, you pretty much sit back and have full control over their life. And when you come across a good bargain to get something, you'll use whatever you have to gain whatever to gain whatever you want. Meaning, if you got some prisoners that you can ship off to another country for the price of whatever, you'll do it. And what I mean by that is, you have rich Caucasians who will empty out their prisons, send them off to other countries, so that way you can conquer. No, no. So that way you can take care of the land that you have conquered. Instead of using your soldiers or the people that you deem to be decent, you'll use the labor of people that you deem to be indecent. So it's fucked up. And history is fucked up. Mankind has been fucking over each other for a long time. But yet, going all the way into full circle to the whole thing of we sit back and we try to get rid of the evidence of the fuckery, but we'll be champions. We'll sit back and we'll continue on the lies. We'll continue to celebrate holidays, religion, and I think that's fucked up. I think it's like I don't know what it is. My brother always says that white people stole everything, and they always had some niggas to help them do it. And I'm sitting there, I'm looking at it now, in modern days. This is 2021, and no matter who's pushing the buttons in this world, you got niggas, people my color, that is still helping them do it. Like I say, watching MSNBC or CNN, listening to the fuck they gotta say, I'm just like, man, I can't trust y'all's information. Because on one hand, you got your fist up talking about black power, and then the other hand, you know what I'm saying, you're welcoming in the bullshit, or you're welcoming more bullshit to exist. It's kind of like saying, if you don't believe in God, then why do you ever have to talk about the topic of God? Why give life to the topic if you don't believe in God? It just doesn't make any sense. But if you got your hand out and you're welcoming in the chance for somebody else to continue to practice dumb shit, or to add, you know, leave questions out there, leave yourself vulnerable to be questioned, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any fucking sense at all. Alright, I'm about to get off of here, but I got some links that I'm gonna leave down in the description box. I went to Karen is one hot ass girl. I was watching her videos earlier this week, and her daughter turned her on to some information about the Dutch, the folks over in the Netherlands, and how they were still fighting this case about their black face painted Santa Claus, and how you got so many people that don't want to break the tradition. So what they have done is they compromised. Okay, what they said was they were not trying to do blackface as in a racial thing. What they were trying to express was that there was a white man with soot, that shit that you get from coming down the chimney, on his face, that gave him the appearance of having a black face. Alright? So the compromise was, they're not going to do complete blackface. What they'll do is make it apparent that it's a white guy with soot on his face, meaning rubbed in dirt spots on his face. And I'm like, that's That's a hell of a compromise. Fuck you very much. So what I did was I went into YouTube search and I typed in Netherlands blackface, and then that's when I began to see the different videos on that topic. And I watched this one video called Why Blackface is Still Part of Dutch Holidays. I'm gonna leave that link down there. And after watching that video, I seen that there was another video called The Real Experiments That Inspired Frankenstein. And the reason why I think that's important is because before I was conscious enough to question things, to look at things differently, I just thought it was another horror story, another Halloween mask to purchase, what I'm saying, another cereal to you know what I'm saying, Frankenberry, you remember Frankenberries? But anyway, but then after watching Frankenstein a couple of times, a few different versions, I was like, it's fucked up how you could create something but yet push it to the side and make it fend for itself, as ignorant as it is towards the world. And for the movie versions where Frankenstein was coming back to get revenge, I was like, well, fuck yeah, I would want to get revenge too. Why abandon me? You know what I'm saying? And it made me relate to orphans and how orphans be like, man, I gotta move on, but it still bothers me, it still hurts to know that I was brought in this world by somebody who just pushed me to the side because they couldn't take care of me or whatever reasons. You know what I mean? And then you got people that are trying to push away or stop abortions. I'm all for abortions. I'm all for abortions. Why bring a child in this world if the parent is inadequate? If the parent is unable to fend for themselves? If they can't fend for themselves, how the fuck are they supposed to be able to take care of a child? Abort that child and save that child the misery. So when it comes down to Frankenstein, I'm like, man, are you serious? But the real experiments was really based on true events and mankind's history, to where they took electricity and tried to reanimate corpses. If you can remember, they used to bury people with a bell on the outside of their the dirt, the burial, the it's like you're down in the casket, and if you're still alive, you got a string to pull to ring a bell up above where you're buried, so in that way somebody will be like, oh, so you was not dead. Okay? They talk about galvanism, and I'm like, man, are you fucking for real, man? These people, you know what I'm saying, for the sake of science, have done some real fucked up shit. It's like this next video topic, the dark history of gasoline baths at the border. That right there lets you know it's like Hitler. Hitler is pretty much a hero in so many ways. How can one man make a complete nation follow his ideas to war? All right? How can you allow one person who's running your country to build countless camps, prison camps around your town, on the outskirts of your town, but yet you act like you don't know that they're there? And when the troops that are fighting against you ask you about these camps, and you sit back and be like, I didn't know they were there. I didn't know were there. I didn't know they were there. The fuck? That's some bullshit. But these gasoline baths, that video is talking about how Americans was fucking over the Mexicans at the border back in the day, fumigating them with fucked up ass this white powder. I forgot what it's called, but it's not for humans. You know what I'm saying? It's like deadly and shit. It's pretty, man. It's fucked up. And then they'll sit back and make them shower and bathe in gasoline or vinegar, calling them dirty and saying that, you know what I'm saying, these Mexicans are going to bring over diseases and shit like that, knowing that people or somebody from Kansas spread one of the plagues to the folks down. Man, it's fucked up. It's like when you watch the video, towards the end of it, they're going to mention how one or a few people from Kansas spreaded this dirty ass disease to a bunch of people. And it's like, you want to turn the story around and say that it's the folks from Mexico that's going to bring in some type of parasite to infect the Americans? It's bullshit. And then you got this video here that says, when white supremacists overthrew a government. And it's like, man, you heard of the Tulsa riots, and you've heard of other places like over in North Carolina. You remember that movie Rosewood? It had Ving Rhames and a bunch of other, Don Cheadle, a bunch of other actors and actresses, where there was a black town that was maybe a mile or two from a white town, and they pretty much was at peace with each other as long as you didn't, you know, black folks didn't go over bothering the white folks and the white folks didn't go bothering the black folks, that type shit. And then this stupid bitch get raped by this dude that worked on the railroad track, some shit like that, and he had all this black soot on his hands, and it was easily you could easily sit back and it wasn't even the fact that he was dirty. It's the fact that the bitch wanted to lie and save her white pride and say it was somebody of color that raped her. So she caused a whole fucking genocide. Knowing, okay, by that being based on true events, you have people over in North Carolina, South Carolina, something like that, that were doing good all by them damn selves, and that people in government, but yet you had these white supremacists that was like, oh no, fuck that, not in my state, you're not going to do that shit here, and they overthrew the government. Lies and all kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? Just making it hard for the people of my color and my race. And then you got this video right here. The U.S. medical system is still haunted by slavery. Think of all the medical tests that was done on slaves for the sake of science. In our move to having racial freedom, you know what I'm saying? It's like before we really got free type shit, they were testing it on us. You remember Mrs. Everett's boys and all that kind of shit? And you remember all the women that had their vaginas and shit fucked with? You remember all the people that was put on LSD and all that shit? And then the countless other events that people just haven't talked about? Come on, man. U.S. medical system. Science. You got to test it on somebody. You got to test it on something. So he used a bunch of people of my color and of my race to do that shit on. And then you got this other videos called How Southern Societies Rewrote Civil War History. That is self-explanatory. Abraham Lincoln didn't stop the war for slavery. It was all over some money. The fuck, man? Frederick Douglass. How much of a hero is he to allow history to be told in the way that they wanted history to be told? If he was such a champion, then why wouldn't the truth be so abundant? Why is it that you gotta go through so much to get the truth? If he and other men like him were really doing their fucking jobs, they did their jobs enough. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they couldn't do their jobs completely because of the way things was. I don't know. But all I know is they was in the position to do something for our people, but yet it wasn't completely done. And it bothers the shit out of me. And then you have the old crack epidemic that the government put in place, and it fucked up 2 generations. 2 generations. In the 80s you had, and I've talked about this so many times, in the 80s you had a drug that was put out there that young folks in their teens to 20s started making money out, and even younger, 11, 12, 13-year-olds was out there selling the shit. Before, cocaine was just a recreational thing. It was the white man's motherfucking luxury drug. Black folks we've always liked weed, and we've always liked alcohol. And when things really, you know what I'm saying, got rough for us, maybe we'll pop a couple pills. But when this crack epidemic popped up, our grandparents was not allowed to raise our parents. I'm 46. That's why I'm talking in terms of this. All right? My mother's generation was out there getting strung out on drugs, and their parents couldn't tell them shit, which would have been my grandparents. Couldn't tell them shit. And when my parents' generation got on that shit, then their children, which is my generation, lost contact with our grandparents. Grandparents was like, well, fuck you. Leave me the fuck alone. You want to be strung out on that shit. You don't want to listen to me. Fuck you and the horse you came in on. And the people of my parents' generation was like, well, so be it. Means you ain't gonna never see your grandchildren again. And then my generation suffered. But my generation was the generation of kids having kids. My generation was a generation where we started popping out kids at 11, 12, 13, 14. And we started fucking with drugs and selling it too. But at that time, you had Reaganism. You know what I'm saying? Then you had celebrities like Whitney Houston. Crack is whack. So crack began to die out. Plus the Iran-Contra affair that blew up in the country's face. Oliver North, his ass got caught for doing his shit. Rick Ross, you know what I'm saying, got fucking the finger pointed at him. You know what I mean? So it's like, the crack epidemic fucked up 2 generations. And it's crazy. And it goes on to this other video where it's like, meet the Mennonites inside the ultra conservative community. The Mennonites. I like this video because I have often thought of having a community where you have people who are wanting to live in a like-minded way. I've always sat back and been like, look, if I was a billionaire, then I would want to try to stop the cycle in some kind of way. Tyler Perry has a movie studio that took over a fucking a racial plot of land, a plot of land that had a lot of racial history to it. He took over it and turned it into a motherfucking movie studio. All them old plantation homes, he used it for his own self-gain. And I'm like, if you had all that money and you had all that property, why is it that you still had people of our culture, of our race, a few miles away living in poverty? Fucks me up. It fucks me up. I'm like, you could have easily moved them into that area and developed that area in order to give them a better chance at life. It fucks me up. I've often sat back and said, man, if I had the money, I would, 1, have housing, 2, have schooling, 3, have a fucking factory, a business. So that way you could put all 3 of those together to have a community. All right? You have a school that educate people to work in that factory. All right? And you have a residential area so that way those people that's going to that school and working in that business will have a place to stay. And within that place, within that residential area, you got people who are naturally gifted, man. You got people who are natural healers, nurses, doctors, dentists. You know what I'm saying? You got people who are mechanically inclined. They're good at tinkering with shit, whether it be on appliances or vehicles. You got people who got a natural green thumb, who can farm. You know what I'm saying? Who could throw together gardens, botanical gardens, fruit and vegetables can be grown. You got people who can engineer shit, who are just good at building shit. Be like, I got an idea to fix that. You got a problem? I can help you solve that. Put together some windmills. Generate some hydroelectricity. So we ain't got to sit back and pay the city or state. We can just run some windmills. We can just make our own water wheels to generate electricity for our own community. Have our own gardens, have our own mechanics, have our own dentists, have our own doctors, have our own nurses, have our own teachers. And we just live by some rules that we all agree on. This video right here reminds me of that. The Quakers, they remind me of that. And they're still out there doing their thing. They might have modernized their way of living just a touch, enough to maintain their way of life. And I'm like, why can't my people do it? Why can't we get together, put our money together, put our heads together, move somewhere? All this land that's in this country that people own. People just own land and don't do shit with it. They might go out and hunt on it occasionally, every other hunting season. You got all these Indian reservations. You got some of them that ain't shit. And you got some of them that are getting that money from the government that's doing a little bit better than the other reservations. Besides that, there is still land that is not lived on. That's for sale. You look in the paper or the computer and there's land out there for sale. What the fuck is wrong with the people in my culture? Why can't we get our shit together? And we have no goddamn excuse. I don't like it. I don't understand it. And it pisses me off. And then to the whole topic of I'm not a racist because I understand that white folks enslaved themselves and other ethnicities. It wasn't just people enslaving Africans, bringing them over here to America and doing fucked up ass shit to build a country. It wasn't just my people. It was other people. They did it to themselves. And then when I sat back and I had to really realize that, you know what I'm saying, you had Jamaicans, you had Africans that went up north to the UK just to get away from the problems that was going on in Africa or Jamaica or Hades or, you know what I'm saying, wherever the fuck they come from. You know what I mean? They go up there and they live with these people that have a different colored face. They raise a family. You know what I'm saying? What I'm talking about is I ran across this video about the racial hold on. What do you call it? British racial I'm just gonna go with that. I forgot what he called it. Racism in the UK. School kids surprised when revealing racial stereotypes. The Great British School Swap. Is Britain racist? Why the UK's race reports sparked a backlash? But it's the whole fact that, what do you call that shit? That struggle for your rights. Power movement. Was it a movement? I forgot the term. Movement. Power movement. The Black Power movement. Okay, the story of Britain's Black Power movement. All right. I was like, man, oh shit. I was like, they were going through their shit. Fuck. Hate this shit. They were going through their shit during the 70s and the 60s, just like it was going on over here. You know what I mean? And it's fucked up. It's like you got a country like Britain that caused a lot of issues for a lot of people for a long ass fucking time. All right. And then you got folks that didn't like it, that was from the same area, and they would be on the side of the people of my color, but they're not talked about. It's like abolitionists. They're not talked about enough. So it makes people ignorant to their existence, and which increases racism because people of my color are not aware of how many other ethnicities was helping us with our freedoms, with the struggle, with the power movement. All they know is point blank, it was a white and black thing. And it wasn't just a white and black thing. But yet we sit up here and we celebrate these fucking holidays. We celebrate it. And then when you sit back and watch the videos on where these holidays actually came from, you see that, you know what I'm saying, it's a twisted ass horror story that people twisted, you know what I'm saying, to make it more comfortable for other people. And it's fucked up, man. You tell a kid a scary story, but then twist that shit around to turn it into a thing that you can gain money from. And other people are whipped on it. They're just sold on it. And here we are having a Black Friday sale. When are they going to change that term? When are they going to stop calling us black? I don't understand it. Why can't we just be Americans? But you have folks who are like, I'm Irish American. I'm English American. I'm Yugoslavic, Slavic. I'm, you know what I'm saying? They'll be like, I'm this country American. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, man, I can't say I'm African American. Africans didn't want me. Africans don't claim me. Don't give a fuck about me. They hate me. They hate on me in so many fucking ways. So many fucking people. But not everybody. So no, how can I be racist? When I know that it takes a handful of people to turn a key to open a fucking door to somebody else's freedom. But it also takes a handful of people to take a key and lock the door behind a bunch of people in order for them to be stuck on one side of the door or the other. And it's fucked up, man. You always talk about, or people have always talked about, if you have an open hand, is that more powerful than a closed fist? And I'm like, that same closed fist can clench onto a key. You know what I'm saying? So, all these little fucking sayings, man, it doesn't help when you got people still practicing religion and holidays, all for the monetary gain of somebody's company. And this somebody's company is still a rich ass family that's helping push politics. Our infrastructure here in America is fucked up. You go to the grocery store and you gotta buy all this fucking food that you can't afford, or you're looking at food that you can't afford. You got the government that's trying to, what they try to do last year in 2020? Send a box of food to the people that was on welfare. Now, I used to like welfare cheese. It was salty and shit. I used to think that shit was bomb. Made some good grilled cheese sandwiches. But it's fucked up that they want to give people rations. We're not, I was going to say, we're not in going through a war, but we actually are. We're at war. It's the haves against the have-nots. And that war is going to continue. We need more people to fucking sit back and get the whole picture straight, get the whole story straight, get the whole situation solved. And I'm ranting. I was supposed to shut my fucking mouth about 15, 20 minutes ago. I just wanted to mention a few things and shit. But when it comes down to a topic like this, it fucks me up because I don't like reading, because I've been lied to enough. And if I go and read some shit, I don't know who wrote it. I don't know who might have rewrote it in order for it to be deemed, in order for it to pass the curricular, or in order for it to pass somebody's fucking permission. Or what I'm trying to say is, there's books out there now that somebody had to give permission for the shit to be out there for other people to read. And it's fucked up. How can I trust that? I don't care what the fancy title might be. I don't care what the fancy topic is supposed to cover. I can't trust it, because I don't know who might have rewrote it, and who might have used a bunch of fancy ass words to make me say, oh, so that's how. No, fuck that. There was this guy that had this school, Dr. Kenley or something like that, MRS, some shit. They talk about Yahweh. All right. Hold on. Let me see if I can get this right. Dr. Kenley. Is it Dr. Kenley? Dr. Kenley was kind of like IDMR. IDMR. I had somebody that was working with me who, it was her generation and her mother's generation. They had practiced this study, this IDMR. What is IDMR? I would say go to this Dr. Kenley, IDMR. I'll put some more links. I'll add some links to these links and put them in the description box if you're really curious about it. But what it was basically our bodies, much like every creature's body, you know what I'm saying, has some type of spiritual and mechanical way of working. Okay, you got God's head, you know what I'm saying, you got your mind, you know what I'm saying, you got the heart, which is, a pump, but it's supposed to, it's, man, I used to know this shit. She and I, the girl, used to work with me and shit. We used to talk about the shit all the time. But it was one thing that he was saying that I liked. He was like, I'm not trying to make you change your religion. I'm not trying to make you switch your religion, or I'm not trying to help you gain a new religion. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to help you change your way of thinking. It wasn't the way of thinking of religion, or thinking of this, or thinking of that. It was just change your way of thinking, period. Use what this IDMR is. It's a tool. It's a tool that gives you a different perspective on your body. Maybe you'll treat your body differently. It's kind of like with your vehicle. If you're using the wrong oil then you're going to fuck up your vehicle. If you're putting the wrong foods into your body, then, yo, you're going to fuck up your body. All of our bodies is basically the same, but not all of us can eat the same shit. Some of us have allergies to different foods and things like that. Whatever being created us, whatever entity created us, did a motherfucking great job. Look at the creatures who have toes and nails and toenails, which is claws. You know what I'm saying? Makes it so easy for people to come up with theories of blue bloods, reptilian people. You know what I'm saying? When you're dealing with the Illuminati and shit like that. It makes it so easy to sit back and put them in the category of reptiles, because we all got nostrils, we got eyes, we got ears, we got tongues, we have teeth. Food comes in through our mouths, comes out our asses. You know what I'm saying? And we got, you know what I'm saying, the internal, our organs. We got to process what we eat and what we drink. The minerals and shit is separated from the substance that we have just taken into our body in order to go through the rest of our limbs and our circulatory system, our respiratory system. All that shit, you know what I'm saying, is so similar to, it's like a human's respiratory and circulatory system is just about the same as animals. So it's like, man, IDMR was like, yo, change your way of thinking, period. Just period. Use whatever tool you need to educate yourself to fucking learn something and to make changes. Become a better you so you can feel good, so you can have a personal freedom, so you don't have to subject yourself to the bullshit that other people is harming themselves with. You got people out here that are trying to help other people with their mental health. You got other people out here that are like, man, if you're going to be an NBA star, then why don't you take care of your money better? Leave these Instagram females alone. Entertain people with the skills that you have to entertain yourself with, and live as comfortable as you can live. You earned it because you put the work in. You put the physical and the mental work in to gain the money that you have worked for. There should be schools to teach these athletes how to take care of their money. But no. You have people that are trying to keep student athletes from using their own name to gain money because you want to claim the rights to their fucking name while they're in your school. That's some bullshit. That is some straight up bullshit. But we're all celebrating holidays and religion. That's the one thing you can't get mad at each other about. But you will. You'll have, what is it? That brother that just got shotgunned down by the two men that thought he was trying to steal some shit out of a house that was under construction. Chased him down, pinned him down, and shot him. They didn't ask that man if they practiced the same religion. They didn't ask that man if they practiced the same holidays or celebrated the same holidays. But they probably did. They probably had more shit in common. They probably all like video games at one point in time. They probably like going out and hunting on the weekends. Probably wasn't nothing too different between those men. All three of them. But that brother got shot and killed based on this whole fucking idea of racism. Of how are you going to be afraid of a man that's running away from you? That makes no sense. And you're going to go chase him down with a gun, expecting him to stop because you said so? That's the fuck's wrong with the police system. You're carrying a gun and you're actually wanting somebody to trust you? It's bullshit. I wouldn't trust a family member who had a gun pointing at me. Fuck that. I don't know if this is going to be your day that you want to finally lose your mind and fuck up the whole family. It is crazy as fuck. But we have all these tools to help ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Self-help. There's so many tools out here. There's videos and books. There's music. There's one-on-one counseling. This shit is on TV damn near all the time. I want to apologize for really ranting for as long as I have. It's just that I'm real passionate about this shit. And it fucks me up that I don't have, this is the only power. This is the limit to my power. This is the limit to my power. This is the limit to my power. I could run my mouth, make a video, and put it on YouTube. This is the limit to my power. If somebody saw my video and asked me to do some public speaking, I'd take my power to that level there as well. I'd do it. I'd do it. I'd do it. I remember there's been so many times when folks have asked me to talk to other people to help motivate them to be more positive about their life. And I did it. I did it. When I was at Job Corps, I was a mayor of a dorm 3 times because they asked me to be. I got voted into the position. When my other peers needed my ideas on shit, I gave them the best idea that I can give them. I was in a position to where I could be appreciated for having the personality that I have. I abused it a little bit when I got tired. I was like, man, I need to smoke some weed. And this title of being mayor of the dorm got me on a pedestal to where the mayor ain't supposed to be able to smoke weed. And I'm stressing because I want to be here, but I don't want to be here. I'm done with my trade. I want to go somewhere. Tired of looking at the same faces. Give me some weed. Give me a little alcohol. Let me have my devices of destruction. Let me go chill somewhere. I don't want to be in your face. Somebody tried to call me a hypocrite. And I said, fine then, you do the goddamn job. I'm trying to take a break. But y'all voted me back in. I couldn't take a break. It's crazy. But student government was fun. I was able to be who I naturally am. And folks accepted the shit because basically they didn't want to do it. Somebody had to do it. And they trusted me to do it. It's crazy, man. The world is like that. You got young people doing it. Got children on the playground that do it. Children on the playground. There's politics for the playground. It's crazy. Somebody's got a rule for one thing or another. And we all accept it or we don't. Some of us might not accept it. Some of us will accept it. It's crazy. I'm about to get off here. I hope you have a good day. I hope you have a good night. I hope you have a good morning. My disclaimer is I am not the smartest person and I'm not the dumbest person. There's some things I've done my research on, and there's a whole lot of things that I still need to go and research. What I'm asking you to do is to question everything that I have been talking about. I'm asking you to form your own opinion, do your own research, and then form your own opinion. And when you have an opinion that you feel passionate about, feel strong about, you share that with other people. The reason why I think you should share your opinion with people is because you never know when someone has thought about the same shit you thought about, or is at that time thinking about the shit that you're thinking about or talking about, and they don't have anybody to share it with. I know what it feels like to feel like I'm all alone in a crowded room. I know what it feels like to be the weirdo to somebody. Just because I'm thinking on a different wavelength, I'm living on a different wavelength. I'm thinking about different shit that they're not thinking about, that they don't want to think about. So whenever somebody comes around that's talking the shit that I'm talking, man, I can go on and on and on and on and on like I am right now. But see, I'm going to be talking to myself. Well, I'm talking to myself until somebody watches this video. I'm in a room by myself, talking into my microphone. And if nobody watches this video, then I'll be the one that's talking to myself. And it's crazy that it's like that. I'm on Second Life. Time to time, I log in, I put clothes on my avatar, try to look the way I would look in real life. I created a roller skating rink, because I like roller skating. But I got a friend list. I used to have 200 to 300 people on my friend list. Now I'm only down to 69 because I got rid of those folks. And I have at least 30 or 40 more people to get rid of. They'll send me a message saying, hey, come to this party that I'm hosting or that I'm DJing. But they won't sit back and say, hey, how are you? How you doing? Are you having a good day? Are you writing poetry? There's only a few people that do that. Not all of them. There's like maybe 10, 15 people that ask about my poetry, that ask about my day. And that's not every day. That's not every week. It's not every month. It's every now and then. And I'm the type of person that's like, yo, if we're calling this quote unquote friends list, just like, back in the day when we had our little black books, then what the fuck are you there for if you're not acting like a true friend? I don't get it. I don't like that shit. I'm a Virgo. And sometimes we get real emotional about things like this. So I'm going to get off of here, man. Once again, I hope you have a good day. Hope you have a good night. Hope you have a good morning. Hope you enjoy your weekend. Peace.